Let's hope this doesn't break. Let's hope this doesn't break. I don't think it broke. Look at that.
Did it break?
It didn't break. We are live. Hello. We had a last minute procrastinator join us.
I only came in to troll you.
Yeah, and now you're here to stay.
Yeah, then I stared at my notepad and I'm like, I'd rather piss around than do work.
Haven't we all been there? So, welcome to the Unnamed Game Show. This is the game where we talk about shows that aren't Star Citizen. Normally we do this because we have Jake on, and Jake can't talk about Star Citizen, but also we do it because there are other video games in the video game industry other than Star Citizen, and we like talking about them as well. So we're going to do that.
Did you know Pac-Man was originally going to be called Puck-Man because that's more onomatopoeia to what he sounds like when he's eating a little thing. And then some genius actually had the last minute thing of, oh, they could do some really bad graffiti to that. So they changed it to Pac-Man.
I heard that before.
I'm sure.
Really? Okay.
I'm 100% positive that Rule 34 has still done some pretty awful graffiti to Pac-Man.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Sure.
But that's the rule. That's the rule. I mean, the rule states, you know.
Everyone's
rule.
That's right.
Every once in a while, I'm like, I wonder what they've done with this inanimate object, like a toothpick.
Like Nitro's legs.
Where'd they hide them? All right, welcome to the show. We're going to talk about video games. If you got any questions or any thoughts, or throw them at us, because that's we're here. We're going to start with a lovely segment that I like to call Segmentin' Zero. What you playing?
Even what are you playing?
What am I playing? That is a great question, Eric. Let me bring up my.
We should have a whole segment about that question, you know.
We do. It's called Segmentin' Zero. What you playing? I'm good at naming stuff. All right. I've been playing some Total War Warhammer 2 because they did some updates to the dwarves and the beastmen, and they added a new lizard man character as well. There's a bunch of new characters. It's the last DLC that is going to happen for Total War Warhammer 2. They're switching everything over to Total War Warhammer 3 now, which should be coming out later this year. So I've been playing some dwarves in Total War Warhammer 2, and God, dwarves are fun. For anyone that doesn't know, Total War Warhammer is it's a Total War game, but with Warhammer universe. For anyone that doesn't know a Total War game, overworld does anyone not know what Total War is at this point? It's been around for 20 years.
Show of hands.
What am I showing them for? These are my hands.
You're checking to see if you've got this loop on your palm. It shows that if you're insane. It's one of the first signs. The second sign is looking for it.
Oh, good.
You go straight to it.
Good, yeah. I can confirm that I have it and looked for it. Anyway, I'm really liking Total War Warhammer 2.
What the sign is?
What's that?
Being really bad at judging indoor spatial areas inside of Japan.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I'm better than all of Japan, because I know that you can't live in a cardboard box the size of a toothpick. the rest of Japan hasn't really figured that out yet, it seems.
There's this house. Literally, I can see it from the window, right? It is fucking humongous. It is beautiful as well because it's old and it's what you would think of as a Japanese house. It is fucking humongous.
I think David needs proof.
And it probably fits inside my bedroom.
Not inside your bedroom, not with all those sex slaves you have.
That's true. All right. Whole lot of Total War Warhammer 2. Dwarves are amazing. Yeah, Total War is just one of those games that I go back to every couple months and just lose days to it. I love it. I very briefly hopped into a game called Chris Tales that just came out today. It's sort of it's an ode to old school JRPGs. It's all 2D.
Oh, so the buildings are really small.
So small. Yeah.
Oh, God. What am I going to do with you two?
I don't know, put up with us for some reason. I don't know why.
Don't put us in a Japanese house together, it'd be too enclosed.
Yeah, no doubt.
Zane!
Hey, Zane!
Long time!
Hey, how's it going?
Hello!
Every time I put on my DC t-shirt, my DC Villains Gallery, Rogue Gallery t-shirt, I think of you, Zane. Just throwing that out there. Carry on with your life.
I can honestly say that I don't think of you when I put on any of my t-shirts, Zane. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Chris Tales seems interesting. It's on Game Pass. It came out today and it's on Game Pass day one, which is always nice. Seems like an interesting time travel-ish based game. The combat is very JRPG, you know, attack, skills, defend, turn-based.
Yeah, very classic.
Yeah, very classic, but it seems to also be very very story heavy, but interestingly so. So very early on in the game, the screen breaks into 3. So down the center of the screen, it sort of cuts like this. Mm-hmm. So your character walks and moves in the center of the screen. Mm-hmm. In the present. The diagonal cut on your right is the future, and the diagonal cut on your left is the past.
That is really cool.
And as you're walking through the areas, you see what things are like in the present, the past, and the future. So you see people standing there in the present, and then
super cool.
If you move off to the side, you see what they look like in the future. And it seems the way the game is going is like, oh, I walk into an area and everything's okay in the present, but a whole bunch of the buildings are destroyed in the future. Find out why they're destroyed. Oh, there's like a weird rot that's going to destroy all the buildings. You have to go and do quests and like do little things in the past and the present to collect things to save the buildings. But then you can also only save one building, and you have to choose whether you want some people's houses to stay destroyed in the future or the apothecary to stay destroyed in the future. And it seems really interesting. I need to put more time into it. I only had about a half hour before the show to jump in, but really, really interested, and it is on Game Pass. So
I'm gonna try it out because the art style is also really, really cool.
Yeah. It's another one of those games that, as Jake would say, it's got a look.
Yeah, that is not a generic art style at all. That's very unique.
And the last thing I've been playing is the remaster. Sorry, words are hard. Skyward Sword HD remaster on the Switch. I had tried getting into Skyward Sword on the Wii years ago when it came out, and it had some serious problems. The combat wasn't great because it was entirely motion based. So you swung the Wii remote to swing your sword, and you raised the nunchuck to raise your shield. But because it was all based on that, and because the Wii remote only had one thumbstick, there were some really big limitations, like as you were walking around with a thumbstick, you had no control over the camera. You could press a button to center the camera straight on, but if there was an enemy nearby, it doesn't go straight on to you, it locks onto the enemy because it's the same button. So just control problems, and then a lot of extra text. The game would talk to you all the time in instances where, like, hey, you got a piece of heart. Let me explain to you for the 18th time exactly what a piece of heart does. You've got 18 of them already, but you probably don't know that you can collect 4 of these pieces of heart to give you one full... Like, just... Anyway... The HD remake has fixed a lot of those problems. It's still got a little bit of jank here and there. Mainly in now you can freely control the camera by holding the left thumb button and using the right control stick. And to attack and stuff, you can just use the analog stick and swing in, like, flicking in a direction is a swing with your sword in that direction. It's super easy to use. But yeah, I'm loving it. It's great. I love Zelda games. I named my son Link after the game series, and I'm happy to be able to play this one finally because yeah, it's good. Shiver,
Excellent.
what are you playing?
Streets of Rage 4.
Oh, wow.
They had a new DLC come out, and it's actually really quite addictive, where you just punch people, and then you go to a new level, and you punch different people, and you just keep punching people. And I quite like punching people. That's why I got Streets of Rage, because I punch people.
All right.
Yeah, that sounds legit.
And Mashinki, which is...
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm almost worried that I still haven't fully gotten into that game, and I almost don't want to, because if I do, then I probably will never emerge.
It's very much like Transport Tycoon, I suppose.
Oh, yeah.
But more of an emphasis on trains at the moment. There are cars and car-like vehicles within the game, but trains... It's good. Good little game, still in early access, but well worth the pickup, I think, if you're into that sort of game.
A transport strategy game about trains.
You know, Streets of Rage 4 is a very nostalgic game. Holy crap. I haven't played it yet, but man, it looks a lot like the first 3, which I played a lot when I was a kid.
You can actually, in Streets of Rage 4, you can unlock, after completing the game each time, you unlock characters from previous games, so you can get Axel from Streets of Rage 1, 2, and 3, and all the other characters from 1, 2, and 3, to then do a playthrough in 4.
That's awesome. I like
Nice.
Yeah.
That's it?
That's it.
All right. Eric, what are you playing?
The fucking notepad open for 2 hours. What else do you want from me?
I'm playing Assassin's Creed Valhalla still. I'm now 30 hours in, roughly. I am killing a lot of things. I walked into a sizable town yesterday with probably 100 enemies total. And when I left, there were no enemies.
Nice.
One thing I have to call out Ubisoft for, in a good way. I think this is an elegant way to do it. Basically, they didn't want you to be able to kill everybody in their world and have the world be empty. So, so they wanted the enemies to respawn. But I thought this was really cool. So they don't respawn. Like if there were 100 enemies in the town, you don't like walk to one side of the town and then 50 of them respawn on the other side. They respawn. They get reinforced, so they filter in one at a time or two at a time instead of 42 at a time.
Yeah.
And it feels way more natural, like it's like the town is being reinforced by the troops, if you know what I mean, rather than like the game is respawning people. But yeah, I was a little mean in that town.
They're bad guys. You do what you got to do.
Yeah. Right.
And what you got to do is punch them.
Really enjoying that game. It's very good. Same complaints as before, but overall it's great. Oh, one thing that I'm a little annoyed by. It's another little tiny thing, but it is annoying. So you can use this thing called, every game has to have a MacGuffin, right? To allow you to figure out where shit is. And in Valhalla they use Odin's Sight, where you can see where things are. But it lets you see things that you cannot access because you haven't done the right quest yet. And so a lot of times it doesn't make sense because you're like, this door should open. Why is the door not opening? Why can't I break down the door? And it's because you haven't done the right quest yet, but it doesn't tell you that. You just can't get there. It doesn't happen a lot, but it's happened to me a couple times in the last, 10 hours of gameplay. And it's a little aggravating, mostly because I'm very completionist, so it drives me crazy when I'm there, and I'm like, why can't I get this thing? It's right there, I want it. So, and probably that's probably partly my fault, because I'm mostly ignoring the quests and just, like, rampaging through the wilderness.
You got to focus on the quests a little bit because they give you like, I don't know. I find they do a pretty good job of like sending you to most of the areas in each area, and then it's like, oh, I can quickly get to this and this and this as I'm in this area, and then here's this area. But yeah, great game.
They let me loose in an open world game, and I took them at their word. So,
it's their fault.
Yeah, I'm blaming them. But yeah, overall, I have to say it's a really, really, really excellent open world game so far. I am nowhere near done that game. It's going to be well over 100 hours for me, probably.
Yep.
Because I'm 30 hours in, and I'm like, yeah, I'm just starting.
Yep. It's it's huge. It's too big.
Yeah, it is. It's really, really, really large. I'm not going to give them crap for it being big. I would prefer games be big than small. But, open world games specifically. If you're going to make a world, I want it to be...
Most people do prefer large over small in most things, so, yeah.
Except for, like, dead.
Well, I mean, banks prefer large amounts of debt.
But yeah, I've just been playing Valhalla because I'm having a lot of fun with it, and yeah, I've just been sort of powering my way through. And it takes up, like, it's not I put in 30 hours. It's not a quick game. So
yeah, awesome.
Yeah, that's segment zero. Segmentin 0.
Thank you. Now it's time to move on to the accurately named segment 2, One Game You Want. Shiver, you want Bloodlines 2.
I still want Bloodlines 2, yeah. I still want Oh, why can't I remember the fucking name of Gotham Knights? Gotham Knights.
That would be the name.
Yeah, I hope. Yeah.
We'll see.
And actually, I quite like. I'm deeply intrigued by the Suicide Squad game that Rocksteady are making.
Could be.
Intriguing.
I mean,
So that's the one game I want. All three of them.
all right, that's good. Eric, what do you want?
Calculator as well.
No,
Okay.
no. There's like a $20 calculator app on the Switch store.
Fuck, really? Man, that's more than a real calculator.
Yep.
You could just go buy a calculator at Walmart for like $3.99.
Yeah, but it's not on your Switch.
Who gives a fuck?
Put the
Anyway,
Switch on
sorry.
the table. Put the calculator on top of the Switch.
I am very interested in a game called Wilder Myth that was on my wish list on Steam. It actually came out about a month ago, but I kind of missed the notification that it had come out. But I was checking on my wish list and I noticed that it was released. It looks really, 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 really good. It's got a 95 on Steam. And I just dropped the link to it there. It is a really interesting thing. I get the art. So the art style is like 2D characters on a 3D-ish background, and all of the like walls and stuff of the areas are also in 2D. It's kind of neat. The art looks really nice, and basically it's like a party-based procedural storytelling RPG. With tactical combat and a lot of story decisions. So basically they were trying to replicate some of the depth you can get with a TTRPG with a video game. I'm really... I want to try it. I think it looks really good. It's also not very expensive. It's only... it's not even on sale right now, and it's $29 Canadian. So... it's like probably what 22 American, something like that.
Nice.
Yeah. So I'm very interested in that, and I also just because it popped into my head again, I want to mention that I'm also really excited for Jurassic World Evolution 2, which is still supposed to be coming this year from Frontier. Mostly because I got like endlessly horribly addicted to the first game, and I want to play more. So, give me.
It's fair.
And yeah, so that that one was a bit of a shocker when they announced it, and it's supposed to be coming out before the end of the year. So, excited for that too. And David, what are you wanting?
I kind of want New World. The beta went live today, so a lot of people, 200,000 people actually, were playing it on Twitch. The closed beta, you have to have purchased the game to get access to the beta. It's an MMO, but it's a pay once, no more subscription fees MMO, which I like.
Buy to play.
Yeah,
Yep.
buy to play. Yeah, I hate subscription fees. They just intrinsically bother me. But it seems to be set in a time period that I really like as well. It's like the conquistadors time frame of, yes, there are guns, but they're like matchlock rifles. And there's also swords and rapiers and hammers and spears, and looks stabby, looks like a lot of crafting. I've watched a couple people be playing it on Twitch, and I want to try it out. It looks interesting. It's made by Amazon, and it's made using Lumberyard. So I'm interested to see what that means. I was hearing someone say that there's like 7,000 players per server or something. I don't know.
That's not bad.
It's not bad at all. If I don't know I don't know the veracity of that one. But it looks interesting. I want to try it. Yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to.
I would love to hear a review from somebody I know.
So I actually watched today Paul, the Astropub Shelley, playing a bunch of it. And his basically review was, I love it. It's great. It's a lot of fun. That's what I heard from him. So
I'm much more open to an MMO that is buy to play.
Yeah, and
than a subscription fee.
And the pricing is honestly not bad either.
I actually genuinely don't mind a subscription because I know when I'm paying for a subscription to a game, I'm getting everything. I don't have to go into a money store to get access to more of said game. I don't have to support the game to ensure it keeps going. I can just pay whatever, I can play it.
I would be more okay with that if I didn't also have to pay for the game and for the DLC. Like,
and for the expansions.
I hate the idea of...
Most sub-based games won't do that anymore.
Yeah, they will.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy still does it, and World of Warcraft still do it. You still have to buy the expansions.
That's only
you have to buy the base games.
Ew, for starters. And that's a little different. For expansions, yeah, that's fair to expect to pay for an expansion. Although Eve, which you failed to completely mention, doesn't do that, and never has.
Eve
is not an MMO. It's a spreadsheet. It's a spreadsheet simulator. It's a multi-person spreadsheet simulator.
So it's Google
so
Sheets.
It's still massively multiplayer online.
Yeah.
But it's not a game. It's massively multiplayer work.
Stop being asinine, David. Yes, it's a game.
It's
not fun.
Anyway,
I mean, I'm so Eve has always just torn at my soul because I really want to like that game so badly, like because it's space and I love space games. The longest I ever got into it for was like a month, and that was it. And
A lot of good times on Eve.
And I got burned really badly, and I was like, yeah, this isn't fun anymore. I made one risky decision, which I shouldn't have made, but I basically like reset the whole game back to the beginning because I fucked up, and I was just like, yeah, I don't want to play anymore. I'm good.
It's a little too hardcore for me.
It'll take me 30 or 40 hours to get back to where I was.
What is manual server meshing?
Manual server meshing is what Star Citizen is going to start with. Which is, well, not manual, but not sure about manual, but static server meshing is what Star Citizen is going to start with. Where instead of the servers dynamically changing size and player count to like suit the situation, they'll just have like a server for Port Olisar and a server for this planet and a server for this city and a server for the whereas when it's dynamic, the servers will make their own decisions about how many servers there should be and how big their play area should be.
Got it.
Cool. The amount of money I've put into Star Citizen, I expect manual server meshing to mean that Chris Roberts himself is sat in a server farm and he's like, oh, Shiv needs to go here. I'll put that there so he can travel along. And then he winds the server up for me as I'm going along this cable.
I mean, we have completely different ideas because the amount of money I've put into Star Citizen, I fully expect Chris to sit beside me while I'm playing.
And I've put in more money.
Exactly. All right. Moving on.
Beside me, you know who I want.
Yes, I know exactly who you want. Moving on to the fourth segment. Hey, look, guys, news. Hey, look, guys, news. All right. Popular systems have a dedicated static server. Oh, yeah. Interesting. That's cool. I have also heard
Every
that
time he
Eve.
plugs the cable in, he's like, "Oh,
I have also heard though that Eve has significant and frequent problems when too many players get all together in the same system and everything. They have to do time dilation, so it takes 10 minutes to do anything. Which, yeah,
In its defense, right? This is a game that was built when dial-up was a thing.
impressed.
You know, over 1,000 players in one particular area on one server.
Still impressed that it
Server.
you know is still going in its same form. Like, credit to them. I just don't consider it with the other modern MMOs. That's all. It never pops into my mind.
I never considered it with the other MMOs like World of Warcraft. Oh wait,
What? Final Fantasy 14.
changing those goalposts as we go along, are we? Okay.
No, World of Warcraft and Final Fantasy 14. Those are the other two. Those are, in my mind,
How is World of Warcraft modern?
It's not modern.
No.
It's
I was working on a fan site for it before 2000.
right. It's also continually updated itself, but it's the
So
like
is Eve.
It was Eve.
right. WoW and FF14 are the best performing consistently MMOs out there for number of players.
Oh yeah.
And the number of other MMOs that have fallen and disappeared in this time or gone, free to play, Dungeons and Dragons Online, Neverwinter, God, so many that started with the same subscription model have all lost that subscription model. And when I think of large MMOs that still have subscription models, I think of World of Warcraft and FF14. That's it. I never consider Eve. It's just not.
That's an excellent way to sidestep the question of how World of Warcraft is a modern MMO.
You know how it's a modern MMO?
No,
because
I don't.
because nothing else has done. Honestly, because there's not anything MMO like that has done it, that has made it more modern and succeeded yet.
Again, I'm not sure. Just saying it has made it more modern doesn't make it more modern.
No,
How is it more modern?
nothing else has
Can we talk about
modernized it.
everything else that we have to talk about?
Yes.
No, I want to grill him.
No. I'm gonna give Eve some credit. They still have essentially the same number of players active today that they did like a decade ago.
Hugely successful MMO.
Oh, just Unreal. I have no idea. And I know the joke about Unreal. They. But how? Jesus,
We are often a Star Citizen podcast, and one of the things that's most interesting about Star Citizen is the idea that it will be an MMO that completely strips away all of the underpinnings of MMOs. It would be a new modern MMO.
Yeah.
But it's going
it's
to be
probably the first one to be what I would consider fully modern.
and it's the first one. So World of Warcraft is still modern because nothing has. If there's no advancement, if there's no significant advancement, right? It's still modern. Anyway,
So is Eve.
I just don't think of Eve.
Eve is 2 years away from its 20th anniversary. And it's still got almost the same player base that it did like a decade ago.
Star Wars: The Old Republic. I'd say that's.
Oh yeah.
That's really quite.
It's good. It's got a
optional in a way of you should really sub or at least give some money to get some of the benefits for it because the free-to-play version is a bit.
I wouldn't say it's modern though. It still takes a significant amount of its stuff from World of Warcraft and other MMOs. Like it's still.
Most do though.
I know.
It's very much.
I would say Lord of the
It is
Rings
very
Online
much
is
vanilla.
Lord of the Rings Online is a pretty good modern MMO. I don't personally love it, but it introduced things like real-time combat where you can actually use like
Yeah.
a bow and fire it and not just like click the one button on your keyboard.
Yeah. There are a couple of games that have done it, but most of those have either failed or gone free to play.
Yep.
Anyway, the fourth segment. Hey, look, guys, news. All right, let's start. Steam Next Fest has been
What's this,
confirmed.
World of Warcraft, most modern MMO?
Steam Next Fest is
Says
coming
Stone
in
Age man.
Steam Next Fest is coming in October. There's going to be a lot more demos again. They do this every year. It's been or for the past
times a
couple
year, yeah.
years, which is it's great. I love it.
I always
Talked
enjoy it. Yep.
talked about how New World hit 200,000 players on Twitch in a closed beta. Those are pretty good numbers.
Really good numbers. Nothing wrong with that.
So hopefully that's doing well. Back for Blood, which is a game I'm really excited about, also coming to Game Pass. Game Pass is about to have a really, really good second half of the year, by the way.
Yep.
Some absolutely incredible games coming into Game Pass. Psychonauts 2, Back for Blood, Forza Horizon 5, Halo. Game Pass is going to be great. Anyway, it sounds like Back for Blood is getting a lot of PC support. It's going to have DLSS, 4K with unlocked frame rates, huge swath of options. Always good to see that because it's never 100% that games are going to have all of the options they should on PC.
Agreed.
So
Agreed.
I always like those little like 5-minute trailers of "Don't worry, PC. Yes, we didn't forget about you."
Yeah, it was a little. I have to say, I gotta be honest. I rolled my eyes a little bit in that trailer. They're like, "Look at the menu. You can actually click all the buttons." I'm like, "Yeah, awesome."
You can't always.
I know, but it's still...
Not to knock the game that I was talking about. Actually, I forgot about this and should have mentioned it. I was playing a little bit of Chris Tales, which seems really interesting, right? Except it doesn't have ultra wide support, and there are no graphics options at all.
On its way.
Yeah, it's not. That's
Yeah.
not ideal.
And I'm sure it's on its way. But it is something that gets overlooked often. It's nice. It's nice when a developer is like, "Don't worry, we're on top of it."
That happened with another game that you were playing, and they fixed it in
Paraspora.
like 6 hours. Yeah,
Oh.
Paraspora, they fixed it in like 6 hours.
Even less. Like I said something about it, and like an hour later, it was patched. It was great. Speaking of patches, it sounds like the Humankind devs have removed De Novo anti-cheat because it was affecting performance.
Good.
Yep.
I'm waiting patiently for this.
Yep. It's great.
Humankind. Oh, Humankind is coming soon. That's a game I've been really interested in for a long time. It's less than a month now.
Is it still that weird beta stage at the moment where if you have it on pre-order you can play up to a certain point at the moment?
I
yeah.
think so.
I know that was going on for
I didn't know they were.
long
I didn't
period
know
of
anyone
time. I
was
don't know
able
if
to
it's
play
in
it.
yet. Yeah, they've done a few. I can't remember what like open dev tests. If you've pre-ordered the game already, you can actually play a certain faction for a certain amount of
Okay.
time. They've done a couple of those in the past. I know at the moment you can go up to the industrial age if it's still active.
I don't see it on Steam anyway, but
It's an interesting version of Civilization, where when the world advances enough, you can be like, I'm going to take over that civilization and be them now.
cool.
It seems like an actual competitor to Civ. And let's face it, Civ has gotten a bit comfortable in its place in the market.
Oh, totally, and
yeah.
that's what I'm so excited about. I like it looks like a good game. It looks very nice, which is always great to see. And Civ has desperately needed a competitor for a very long time, so I'm excited for it, and yeah, can't wait. Hopefully, it's great.
Yep. So Ubisoft have announced a new game called X Defiant, which is a horrible, horrible, horrible name.
That is an awful name.
It's really bad.
Literally, I saw that and I was like, "Oh, look, it's garbage."
Yeah.
That was my initial response.
Anyway, apparently it's actually Tom Clancy's X Defiant. It's a Tom Clancy FPS that's
What
set
does
to.
X Defiant even mean?
I don't know.
Sorry, I'm just.
That's your major gripe with this? How does Tom Clancy make this game when he's been dead since 2013? That's what I want to fucking know.
What I want to know is why they've gone and made a Tom Clancy game, which, if you think Tom Clancy, you think Rainbow Six, which is tactical, and Splinter Cell, which is stealth and tactical, and it's a fast-paced FPS set to compete with COD.
No, it won't.
It won't, but it's free to play, so I don't know. I hate it. I hate it.
I'm not a fan of any of that.
No.
I haven't even looked at the game, but just the idea and the name are both awful. I should probably watch the trailer though.
Yeah.
Is
Windows.
this complicated? Do you want me to say it?
I mean, I can say it, but it's your thing, so you can say it.
Direct Storage has been announced that it will be compatible with Windows 10 version 1909 onwards. It will be a slightly stripped down version due to legacy software remaining, so you won't get the full benefits from it. I'm sticking with Win 10, but they've
Direct
also
storage
changed
is great.
Originally, Microsoft said it was Windows 11 and a 1 terabyte NVMe drive only. They have now gone back on that size of the NVMe drive as well, which is a good thing.
I heard that
Only
they
1
basically
terabyte
said
worth of NVMe.
any drive is fine.
Noskavian, I think, didn't Ubisoft actually do a really bad, like, Tom Clancy's mobile game that got but it got in a whole bunch of trouble because they were equating, like, BLM to terrorists at one point in it
Oh, nice.
or something. I don't know. I seem to remember some uproar about that a couple months ago.
I feel like a right bastard. I've been ignoring Noskavian because I had the stream on pause. I'm sorry, Noskavian. That's why I watch you.
Yeah. Speaking of MMOs, FF14 continues to do absolutely staggeringly stupidly well because people are so angry at World of Warcraft and because a lot of huge
So modern.
because a lot of huge WoW streamers have started showing off FF14 to the point that they've had to, like, institute login queues and it's sold.
The game for a while.
Well, I think they had to stop selling it again in the EU now because it's sold too much. They don't have enough server space. They're having some issues.
Are they Kenny login queues?
No, they don't sound as nice.
Well, they're not in the danger zone then.
Oh God. Anyway, I'm glad. I like it when games do well. So good for them. Steam Deck. I don't think we've actually talked about the Steam Deck at all.
Nope. Not yet.
So the Steam Deck was announced. The Steam Deck is Valve's PC console that's handheld and runs Steam games. It runs them off
Linux.
Linux, which is interesting. They're apparently working on increasing the support for more games to run more games on Linux as well, because a lot of huge games like Destiny and so on don't function on it. But I mean, especially right now, it's not like you can get a decent graphics card for your PC. So I have serious qualms about the Steam Deck.
Yep, me too. But there are some major advantages to it as well.
Yep.
What qualms can you possibly have with the Steam Deck?
Battery life.
6
That's
hours
about-
isn't good enough for you.
No, they said their target was 2 hours.
I thought it was 6.
I heard 2. 6 would be great. I heard 2, and 2 is confusing. Or concerning, sorry.
Oh, apparently they're saying that the Steam Deck has a battery life of 2 to 8 hours.
That's
Like, what the hell? That's a wide range. Oh,
I suppose it must be like your
Okay.
phone, and the more you're using it, obviously, and depending on what you're using it for.
yeah.
yeah, it just worries me that like,
Weird.
I've got 2 hours to play some Destiny.
It has a pretty decent sized It's got a 40 watt hour battery. It should
Yeah.
run longer than 2 hours.
I'm interested to see it. I think it's going to have a really good use case for a lot of people. I'm not going to get one, but I'm glad they're doing this. I think this is actually going to be a really good stepping stone into PC for a lot of people that have always used consoles. It's portable like a Switch, which is great. Much larger game library. You can plug it into a stand and run it on a big screen as well. I'm glad they're doing it.
You can stream the games from your computer too, can't you?
Yeah. Anyway, I'm glad they're doing it.
Locked into the OS either, you can install anything you want on it.
Yep.
Yeah, it actually you can actually use Linux on it, and you can plug in like keyboards and stuff to it. So it's a really interesting device. Honestly, my main thing about it is that it's, first of all, I think it's too expensive. I think they should actually compete with the Switch if they want to compete with the Switch, instead of just pretending to do that.
I don't
And secondly,
think they want to compete with the Switch.
I mean, everyone will compare it with the Switch. It's the only device to compare it to. And I think that I would really like to see what the long-term support is like for it. Valve is a checkered past, to
Yes.
say the least.
I will say
Objection, Your Honor.
What is that?
Examples of what they've.
Steam the Steam Link.
Steam machines, Steam Link, Steam controllers.
Steam controllers still supported.
It is not. They killed support for it.
Yes, it is. Yes, they do. They're constantly releasing new stuff for the Steam controller.
Okay.
In fact, I think I had a data
Steam
update
Link
yesterday that
Steam
involved
Link was
Steam controller.
discontinued in 2018.
Just because it's discontinued doesn't mean they've stopped support. Those are two completely
Okay.
different phrases.
Okay. Sorry. I used the wrong term. That is my fault. So stop arguing. Fuck. Okay. They tend to kill their products sooner than I would like them to. And I mean, I don't know. I'm really glad to hear they continue to support them. I haven't bought their products because most of the time I've been worried that they're going to, stop selling them and I won't support them.
I've got one of those here too, Shiver.
But yeah, so, and also, like, I don't understand. So, a lot of people like the Steam controller. And why not just come out with a new one instead of just killing it? I don't understand what the deal is
To
there.
redesign it because of that lawsuit.
Oh, really? Well, that's interesting. Okay. Well, that partially removes that objection. I think it's a really interesting idea. I don't know. I really wish it was $100 cheaper.
What I think
in
we're
Canada.
going to see from this, though, and I know you were saying that the only thing to compare it to is the Switch, because that's the main thing to compare it to right now. But honestly, I think Valve are getting ahead of the game, because with Game Pass, I fully expect the next Xbox console, like the next Xbox one, to be mobile. I would.
The thing I don't get about it is sort of touching on what Eric was saying with the cost of it. It is, for what it is, you think, okay, yeah, but I don't want to part with that much money for it.
Pretty
But-
much.
But what I don't get how let's say Red Dead Redemption 2, really quite graphically demanding. What sort of settings are we looking at to run that? Is this
You'd
gonna
have
look
to-
like pixelated arse?
You have to probably stream it. I mean, you could play it, but you're probably looking at like minimum settings, I would think, even in 720p, which is the natural resolution.
I don't think you're going to. I don't think it's going to be nearly as hard to run things in 720p.
My laptop that I have has literally the exact same chip that's in this thing, and I can run. It's 1080p, but I can run games on low settings at like 20 or 30 FPS. And I'm not talking Red Dead Redemption. I'm talking Gloomhaven, which is like mostly stationary and people don't move or do anything. Like.
If your Wi-Fi contract or whatever you've got will let you have Wi-Fi as you're out and about, great, good for you. If you're like me and you're a poor person, don't have that option. So it's like, I'll just stick this game on here. And it's like, oh well, this looks like Pac-Man.
Yeah, but Shiver.
I want to see it in person. I want to see what games look like in 720p on the small. It's an OLED, isn't it? I think the screen's an OLED. Is that, or was it the bonded LCD that I saw?
I think what we need to see is it in real life, not just specs. Like, period. Before we can really make too many assumptions about it, because we don't know what it's going to play like on anything until we start seeing them. So
it's an optically bonded IPS LCD. So I'm curious. See what it looks like in person. I would really like to actually. You know what? I'm hoping they have one at like Memory Express or something, which is a computer store here, so I can actually mess around with it. I really like the 400 nits peak brightness, which is not stellar, but it's actually pretty high for even like a monitor. And it does have dual band Wi-Fi and Bluetooth and a bunch of other nice things. The really, really huge plus to them for actually having a headphone jack and a micro SD slot, or an SD card slot. That's awesome.
yeah.
So
I hate that my phone
honestly
has no headphone jack. It's horrible.
Yeah, it's not good.
I want to move us on because we
really
still
like
have a
to-
lot to go through.
Last thing I want, two more things I wanted to say. That's it, very quickly. I really hope it's successful. Because I think it would be a really cool device for a lot of people. And secondly, huge props to them for putting 16 gigs of RAM in that thing. Because that would be a way to make it useless in a big hurry. If they undercut the RAM and then it couldn't play newer games because the RAM use was too high. Anyway, sorry. Go ahead. My bad.
Anything else, Shiver? You look like you're good. Okay.
No, it's a wait and see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Excited, but wait.
Also, thank you, Valve, for actually doing that because I'm very curious. I think it's a cool thing to do. And I mean they have a library already of hundreds of thousands of games. So, you know, sure.
There's no one that can do this. Like Valve are the only ones that can do this for PC, and I mean, I was really hopeful when they announced the Steam machines that they could sort of standardize hardware requirements a little bit in PC gaming. It failed, but you know, try again. Okay, so the Avengers, Marvel's Avengers game that came out a while ago that was meh. I really liked the combat and the main campaign, but then everything after was ass. They're getting a DLC, War for Wakanda, which is apparently going to be like 8 hours of story content, which is great because that's like the length of half the original campaign. So it's adding a significant chunk to the game.
That's an extra 50% game. That's not bad at all.
I found this one.
Did Mr. Chance to call it Warconda though?
Oh, that would have been good, actually. I found this story really interesting. You guys know of War Thunder, right? The
Yep.
combat simulation game for tanks, ships, and planes. World War II era-ish. I think they're still just World War II. I don't know if they've expanded, to be honest. Anyway, apparently there was a giant disagreement on one of their forums about the capability. Or no, I think they're modern actually. But there was a giant disagreement on their forums about the capabilities of a British tank. With some forum poster being like they got the specs wrong for this tank, giant, forum argument. Anyway, the person that was arguing that they got the specs wrong for the tank actually posted classified documentation, like full-on classified report on the tank explaining exactly the workings of the tank.
Oh my god.
And the War Thunder devs had to be like, one, you're an idiot. We've removed that. Nobody do this. You're probably in all kinds of shit, and we don't want to get in that kind of shit because you're an idiot. And two, we're not listening to you because we're not going to take any specs from classified documents and put them into our video game.
All they had to do was put a tea-making facility in there, and it would have been fine.
Don't you want a coffee making machine in all the ships?
In the ships, possibly, but British tanks, tea-making facilities.
Yeah. Anyway, I thought that was...
Genuinely, they do have that.
Well, yeah, they should.
Yeah, they
of course.
Genuinely do. Because they were sick and tired of the tank crews taking a break to get out of their tanks and get tea. And this is such a weird ingrained thing in British culture. When Ridley Scott was filming Aliens in Britain, he was really pissed off because the crew were British and would fuck off for their mandated tea break twice a day. And I fucking hate the stuff.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I don't know. You're in a tank. It's hot. Why would you even want tea?
I'd want coffee, to be in fairness.
Yeah. All right. A couple delays. Dark Tide. So excited for that damn game. 40K Warhammer. 4-person shoot 'em up. It's been delayed into 2022. And Resident Evil Reverse, which I think is like a multiplayer, like PvP Resident Evil thing, has also been delayed into 2022.
Just another in the wave of delays.
Lots
Not
of
a
them.
surprise.
That's fine though. More time is always good. Netflix is apparently getting into video games.
I'm totally cool with that.
I'm fine with it, but man, they're gonna have an uphill battle against Game Pass.
I know.
Unless they
Doesn't matter.
unless they like combine their gaming service with their subscription that I already have, and give me an option to
Yeah.
pay like
David, you
two
didn't
months.
read anything about this at all, did you?
No.
Everyone who has Netflix gets the games for free.
Oh, cool. No, when I saw this, I hadn't.
Recent stuff.
When I saw this, they didn't have any information on it. They had just started
Oh, okay.
making hires for it.
They're starting with mobile games,
did.
and it'll be free.
Cool. That's good then.
Yeah, no, I think that is the way. If they want to compete, that's how they compete. They're like, here's more stuff.
Yep.
Enjoy.
Yep.
And people get used to playing games on Netflix.
Yep.
Honestly, there's no losers there. That's just more content for people.
Yep.
Totally fine with that.
Resident Evil Village now has Fidelity FX Super Res, and apparently they also played around with the anti-cheat, because for some reason it seems like anti-cheat seems to keep affecting the performance of games. It's almost like all developers should, or not anti-cheat,
Cheat or the anti-piracy?
anti-piracy.
Anti-piracy.
Sorry,
Yeah.
anti-piracy. It's almost
gotta
like
rip them
developers should just give up on anti-piracy, and
They won't, but
it's cracked in the first day anyway. It's not hard to
It's
get a cracked
totally
copy of
brutal.
literally any game. You're just screwing over the people that actually bought your game.
Some games are a bit harder to crack than others, but at the end of the day, it is the buying. If you were never going to buy the game in the first place, you were never going to buy the game in the first place. So you've never lost a sale because
yeah, I agree.
it's never going to be sold in the first place.
Yeah,
Yep.
I don't think, honestly, I don't think piracy is actually. My opinion from what I've seen, I don't think piracy's affected sales much, and I don't think it would if they didn't have anti-piracy,
Yeah.
software in their games.
You can pirate a game on any format. Xbox, PlayStation are not immune to piracy. You can still pirate a game for your console. You can still pirate a game for your PC just as easily.
Mm-hmm.
I always remember one of my good friends, and this is a long time ago, but he picked up a copy of Spore.
Yep.
Bought like the actual boxed copy of the game, and for some reason EA's anti-piracy stuff, it literally never allowed him to play the game. He went through their support department. He could never play the game. It had decided that something about his computer, it had decided that computer would never be allowed to play the game. And he was never able to play the game that he bought.
So
Nice.
bad thing, wasn't able to play the good game wasn't able to play the game that he bought. Good thing, he wasn't able to play Spore.
I liked Spore. I thought it was a great game.
I liked Spore too, but it was the problem with Spore was it was nowhere near what they were saying it was going to be. It was a decent game, but it was not what they said, which is the big problem.
Yeah.
Don't overpromise.
Yeah.
Well, sorry, don't overpromise and underdeliver.
I'm not
Combination.
I'm not familiar with that one, Niscavian. What did they do for Game Dev Simulator? I think I'm from. Yeah, what was it, Shiv?
I guess to a certain year or something like that, and it just has this pop-up of, all your game money is lost because someone pirated it or something, I think.
Wasn't it just like you make significantly less on all of your games because you lose profits to piracy if you pirated it or something?
Something like that, yeah.
That's funny.
But then it doesn't always work because Arkham Asylum had some glitch in it where you couldn't progress the game because you would get stuck flying or something like that, and someone reported it on the forum threads, and straight away it was like, well, you stole it. It's like, no, here's a copy of my receipt. No, you stole it.
Yeah.
He's literally provided the proof, and it's just...
Yeah.
Yep.
Not good. As soon as it starts to affect real customers, your moral high ground is gone. In my opinion, anyway.
Thing is,
you look at the history of Denuvo, and it's just like it's a nightmare.
Yeah. Well, and you keep seeing it happen even now. Of like, there's a bunch of games that are no longer play. Ubisoft games. I don't remember what game it is. Some of the Anno games, maybe. I can't remember. Anyway, unplayable right now because Ubisoft shut down a bunch of their authentication servers, and the anti-piracy literally cannot authenticate.
I don't know if that's
Nice.
exclusive to Denuvo, but it's exactly the same method that Denuvo uses. The game company pays a license for each year, and then if they just let their license slip, no one can play your game.
Yep.
Unless
That is brutal.
you get
Anti-
Denuvo.
Anti-piracy hurts your customers. Period. It doesn't hurt. It literally doesn't hurt the people you're trying to stop because they'll find a way around it. Because Denuvo is always cracked. It may take them a little bit, but they crack it. The people you are hurting are your customers. And that will always be my stance on piracy. For a hell of a long time, I did not have the money to buy video games, so I did pirate them. And guess what happened when I got money?
You started buying games.
How
Spend it on
many?
hookers and blow?
Oh, so much. But I bought multiple copies of lots of those old games because I liked them, because it was a good game that I loved. I don't know how many times I've bought Neverwinter Nights or Mass Effect. Like, just don't do anti-piracy. Anyway, okay. I have no idea what this one is. Or wait, no, sorry.
Really? You've never...
This one.
Really?
GPU price reductions are slowing down.
Yeah, GPU prices were slowly dropping down, and now that trend is slowing down. Is the short and curlies of it.
Unfortunately. So, if anyone wants to know the current state in Canada, at least, I decided to take a look. I haven't even looked at the GPU market in like many months because it's been a nightmare. It's still $1,000 to get pretty much any modern GPU. And in terms of modern, I'm talking the new generation. Minimum $1,000.
I am so glad I got mine.
How much did you pay for yours?
I think it was 700.
Oh my god. Holy shit. You know how much that card is right now? Like if you buy it at a store?
Where did I buy it?
The cheapest price I can find in Canada for the 3080. Okay, the 3080 Ti is actually cheaper right now. That's interesting. Okay, cheapest price for the 3080 Ti, since it's actually cheaper than the 3080. $2,200
Beat
in
that.
Canada.
For the 3080?
Yep, $2,200. 3080 Ti,
Ti.
but the 3080 is actually more expensive than the Ti right now
What? Why?
because
Because the
it's just all
3080
fucked.
doesn't necessarily have the
Oh, the
stuff
anti,
on it
yeah.
that prevents mining Bitcoining. Mining Bitcoining.
Oh,
mining Bitcoin.
that's why. Yeah, for sure. The restriction.
I was really lucky with mine then because I got mine at the RRP when it released.
Sorry,
Wait 9 months for it.
I was wrong. It was $1,000 for mine.
But you're still
Guess how much?
$1,000 less than what it is right now.
Guess how much a 3080 Ti is here in Japan?
$14,618.
Canadian dollars, 3,375.
Holy
That's
fuck.
2,658 US dollars and 1,952 pounds.
Wow.
Yeah, no. Yeah, GPUs are a nightmare right now.
That's
It really is a nightmare. It's like I honestly cannot recommend anyone build a PC right now. Nope.
I really don't like Bitcoin mining, and I want it to be banned pretty much everywhere. I hate it.
It won't be.
I know, but I hate it.
They could, in theory, just make an alternative product that is dedicated for Bitcoin mining.
They have, but they made it not priced well. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. And yeah.
yeah.
Shiver,
Yes, babe.
the RX 580 You remember that card? $758 Canadian right now. That card was like $200 before. It's almost quadrupled in price.
It's cheaper to employ animators that can physically draw the screen for you 60 times in a second than it is to get a video card.
I gotta throw it out here to Valve.
God.
It's a hell of a lot cheaper to buy a Steam Deck.
Oh, sure it is. Yeah, and that, honestly, it's going to help them. I think it will help them. Either coming out in December, and a lot of people want to play games and they can't right now.
Yep.
I think it's going to help.
All right, Nexus mods.
Third generation, at least, of GPUs where people were like, we'll just wait for the Bitcoin mining to drop out. And it's like, well, yeah, you said that when the 1080 came out, and it didn't happen. Without
It's not-
3080.
I almost wish that they would make it so the cards physically couldn't do it. Just
They
can't.
tried, but
Yeah, not
No.
They're
it's way too energy intensive.
no, but that's my
They're-
problem with Bitcoin. It's not that the GPUs are impossible to get. That's just stupid supply and demand shit. It's that it's so incredibly bad for the environment, and people are doing it at an obscene scale at a time when the environment is literally falling apart before our very freaking eyes. 3 dams just burst in China due to flooding. The flooding that we saw in Germany.
If it happened in China, that might help reduce.
You saw the flooding in Germany. All of Western Canada is on fire.
Oh, also most of Ontario is on fire. Not where you
Yeah.
are, but
Oh,
a
but
lot of Western Ontario.
we've had smoke warnings for the past 3 days because there's so many
The exact
fires.
Opposite direction before those people who are completely ignorant and still use the term global warming, which has not been used for about 40 years. Look at the climate change in Texas that have fucking snow.
Yep. It's called climate change.
Texas, of course, famous for snow.
It's called climate change for a reason because, yes, the globe is warming. That is, quite frankly, undeniable. We have seen multiple degrees of global average warming, and we are going to continue seeing that. But the effect of it is not the globe warming. It's the fact that climate patterns across the entire world change.
Totally fucked.
Completely fucked.
Oh,
A billion.
no, it does this naturally. Not like fucking this.
Yeah. So I do not support Bitcoin mining, and yeah. All right. Nexus mods are retiring their lifetime premium memberships on August 3rd. From then on, they'll only have 2 premium membership options: monthly for £5, $7, and annually at £50, $70. But if you have a current lifetime membership, that'll continue to be offered after the change.
And you can go buy one right now?
Yep. I did just before the cast. It's 50 quid.
And
Wow,
it gets
that's
you the
actually
lifetime.
a really good deal.
And then you get no adverts, and you can download at unlimited speed, change your server region, download more than 20 mods at a time. Not that you need to download more than 20, but sometimes when you get,
Excuse me.
when you
A new install. Excuse me. A new install of Skyrim requires you to download at least 150 mods at a time.
you are
Period.
right. There are some games that are just like that. You've uninstalled them and you think, oh, I fancy playing that again, and then you spend 3 days downloading mods, installing mods, and you go, oh, that was a fun little stint on that game.
You spend 3 days looking at mod lists, choosing which ones to download. You spend the next week working out the mod order to make sure that it functions, and then you play for 12 minutes and are like,
Yep.
all right,
That was cool.
that was good.
You play it after you mod it? I just mod it. That's the game now. 150 mods, game still loads. I won.
Niskavian, you are pretty much right. but we also need to start supporting alternative fuel or alternative energy methods a lot more, because while they won't completely solve the crisis, things like solar, wind, and
They help a lot.
they help a lot, and
Hydro, combined wind hydro.
combined wind hydro, but also thermal.
Yep. Geothermal. Yeah.
Geothermal is huge, and why are we not using it?
Let's use the planet to power our civilization.
It's literally the inside of our planet. It's not. That is not going to change for.
Is it actually technologically viable now for geothermal
Yeah.
power plant?
Yep. Absolutely.
Actually, I toured one in Iceland when I was there. It's really cool.
Yep.
It also because it's
It should
close
be quite
to.
hot, shouldn't it?
It sure is. So it's actually really interesting. It's up on the volcano, like above Reykjavik. And because it's up on the mountain, they generate all the power for Reykjavik, and they also generate all the hot water for Reykjavik as well. And so they don't even have to pump it because it's downhill the whole way. They just rides down the mountain in the pipe, and it provides all the hot water to the whole city. And they had so much extra hot water, they started heating their streets.
Get rid of diesels. Get rid of diesel trains. Bring back coal steam trains, because they were not churning out shitloads of pollution. No matter what you think, they were actually better for pollution than diesel.
Really?
Stop treating the fucking yeah. It's amazing.
Well, that's
Isn't it
weird.
weird?
One of the problem with diesel is, where do you get it?
And they're cheaper. Yeah.
Yeah, diesel.
cheaper to run a
Coal may
steam train
be.
than it is a coal train.
Coal's not great on the surface, but it also doesn't require extremely harmful extraction methods.
But couldn't you just go to electric trains and completely bypass this?
You could, but then you would need to balance that out with pumping out more power, and we're trying to save more power here.
Oh, okay, I see.
Because the planet is not our fucking enemy.
Yeah, there are changes
I think
that
we should just build a Dyson sphere, and then we're problem solved.
We don't have enough material. We need a planet to mine out to
You can use the
get
asteroid belt.
Look, Eris, I've always been in favor of drilling Uranus.
who hasn't.
Sure you have.
All
sure
right.
you have, Shiver.
All right, let's finish this up. We got a little distracted because the climate is literally more important than anything else we ever talk about, and we should actually probably have another show where all we do is talk about climate change, because it really should be that important. But
That'd be really depressing.
it would.
Yeah.
It would, but we could also talk about ways that people and companies are doing good things, because there are actually a lot of companies that are closely related to video games that are doing a lot of good things. Microsoft is one of the best countries in the world right now. They have a pledge that by 2030, not only will they be carbon neutral, they'll actually be carbon negative, so they will remove more carbon from the planet every year than they put in. Huge.
Yay, Microsoft.
We're going to kill 10% of our stuff because they're made of carbon.
Anyway, there's a lot that goes on. There's a lot that we could be doing better. There are even things that you can do if you're buying new products. If try and get a power supply that is the highest Energy Star rating you can. The
problem with that is, though, we as people are forced into certain choices because of big companies saying, well, you're going to have to pay more to be more. It's like, but
Yep.
why should I have to pay this? You're the fucker who's churning out crap loads of shit.
You know why? It's because people like us have to stop being the people that just buy stuff and start being the people that run for political office and take over the
Take over the world.
well, take over the people that are like Politicians get to decide what is important. They get to decide what to go after companies for. And right now, the current vein of politicians seems to believe that the most important thing is making sure that companies make more money.
You're 100% right, but there is one problem with that.
We're lazy as fuck.
Nope.
Oh.
People as a group, when they just get together as a group, are fucking stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Individual people are smart. People as a group are stupid.
Yep. No, I believe me, I know.
I mean, as evidenced by the majority of people who have put these people in fucking power.
Yep. Yep. Climate should be our number one issue. There is basically nothing that matters more.
Yep,
Period.
that's where unfortunately we're pretty much at that point, and it's become more and more clear every single frickin' day.
There is only a 5% chance that we will remain under 1 degree of global heating rise, which we're seeing the effects of not even 1 degree right now. There's a 5% chance. There's a 5% chance that we're gonna hit, 5 degrees of global heating rise.
Really thought.
Which is, basically at 5 degrees, you're looking at the basically the wipeout of how many people are there in the world right now? Are we at 9 billion?
No, not even close.
7? 8?
7.8 or something like that.
Okay, so you're looking at the death of 7 billion people if we hit 5 degrees warming.
No, 5 degrees warming is...
Go ahead, Mr. Squarepeg. Cool bug fact. I like cool bug facts.
Don't forget the animals, because we're already now killing thousands and
I know.
thousands of ocean. And, who gives a fuck about ocean? Well, there's this thing called a pyramid, and we kind of...
Sorry, Mr. Squarepeg. Nightbot, read the room. I'll check that out after, Mr. Squarepeg. Thank you. If you can post it again. But anyway, we should move on. We should actually do a climate special every once in a while.
Yeah.
Let's bring in that other news and bring the mood up a bit.
Yeah. Last bit of news. The PS5 edition. The PS5 digital edition is getting a new version? Question mark?
Yes.
That's 300 grams lighter?
They've only made 4 of them so far, but they've decided that the 5th one is going to be 300 grams lighter than all of the others. I have no idea when they can't make the console why they would do a revision, but hey, whatever. 300 grams is probably quite significant. I would imagine that's probably about 10% of the weight of the console. So I don't know what they did to remove that much weight, but that's notable. Also, I'm not sure why that would be a priority, but okay. Regardless, it doesn't sound like any internals changed. That they must have just been the body that they did some work on. But we'll find out more. It's very early reports. So yeah, no, it's not light enough to actually carry around yet.
Someday, maybe.
Like
All right, that's the news.
That's the news. Abduction.
All right, do you want to do them, Shiver? I was gonna do with them if you weren't here, but you're here, so if you want to do them, do it.
criminals recently broke into a wig factory. Police are quoted as saying they will bring the perpetrators to pay. Thieves broke into a loo seat factory recently. Police say they've got nothing to go on. There are 4 lights.
There's
Raptors
5
usually move
actually.
quite- 5?
I don't get that one.
Raptors move usually quite slowly, but when at speed they become velociraptors. Sahara Karoo, Mojave. These are just some of your just deserts.
Oh God.
The man
That
who
was
discovered
good.
you could drink cow's milk was very, very thirsty.
Yes, he was. Absolutely desperate.
That's shitty news.
All right, it's time for segment. Get your free shit. This week over on Epic Games Store, there are 2 free games: Abduction and Off-World Trading Company.
Off-World Trading Company is pretty good. Definitely worth playing, especially for free.
Yep.
Never even heard of Abduction before, but apparently it's from the creators of Myst. So interesting.
I loved Myst when I was a kid. So good. All right,
You get
and
misty-eyed over it.
My memory's kind of foggy about it.
Oh, I thought mine was better, but all right.
well, we have. I think we already did our rant about climate change. That's just going to be our rant
Yeah.
every week now.
I think that's our rant for the day.
I could go on for so long.
I know
Ugh.
you work in
I do.
that
It's,
industry,
it's too fucking hot.
basically.
Why is it so fucking hot?
Oh, it's actually
Hot.
it's actually really nice here right now because we just had a huge thunderstorm pass by and it cooled everything down. It's lovely, but
When it has to rain in order to cool it down so you're not overheating, that's not great.
yeah,
Forgot what it's like when the temperature drops when it rains because it doesn't do that here. But we've got a typhoon coming in.
oh
And
nice.
they showed the size of this bastard on the news, and it was bigger than the country,
Oh,
You'll be fine.
sweeping over, and it's like, cool. Usually
Cool,
they
cool,
veer
cool,
off,
cool, cool.
but this one's coming straight in and over. It's predicted to go over Korea and China.
Wow.
oh boy.
So if it goes
Yeah,
over
holy
North,
shit.
If it goes over North Korea, it's going to envelop more than the whole country. Probably cause about 10 quid's worth of damage.
Oh, that's funny.
Well, no, it's probably going to
Um,
do a lot of damage to the crops.
What's it called?
What crops? I don't know. Let's have a look. Probably something I can't pronounce anyway. No, I can't. Infar?
Oh, Infa, yes.
Infar a typhoon.
Oh boy. Holy shiza.
Well,
At
Niskavian,
least it's passing south of you.
all of BC is on fire right now, so
Yep.
You know.
Hmm.
in
You see Japan on the map?
Yep. Wow.
Not really. It's not really there. All right.
Now changed, of course.
Well, Shiver, you try and stay safe through that. And seriously, everyone stay safe wherever you are. It's only
Little
going
crazy weather everywhere.
It's only going to continue getting crazier. Seriously, do what you can at your personal and local and federal whatever levels, because we seriously don't have time as the human race. And I want to be clear here. Our parents fucked this up for us, basically, is the stance I'm taking.
We gotta unfuck everything.
We gotta unfuck it. So, this is the biggest, most important quest you will literally ever undertake in your life. It's fun. We all really like video games, and we all really like video games about saving the world. Well, guess what? That's real life now. So,
That's not good.
no.
I didn't want it to be real life.
It's especially not good because I know people that play video games. We're fucked.
All right. thank you everybody for joining us. Hope you had fun. We always have fun talking about games.
We do. Shiver, thank you for joining us last minute. Thank you
Yeah.
for coming on to troll.
You had me last minute. I did just want to jump in the call and troll you and then fuck off.
Anytime.
It was great. Shiver, what do you got coming up?
This week we've got London by Gaslight on Thursday in your Western time zone, and then the day after on Friday, because that follows Thursday, we have Oxford by Night. Both VTM games, good fun. Drop in. Noscavian, the top 0.03% of OnlyFans, will be on both.
Amazing.
Planet Earth.